Okay, I think we can start now. Other people can mute. Okay. So last Saturday, Sunday, we have done, I think, load balancer we were discussing, right? I think we tested classical load balancer, classic load balancer, if I'm not wrong. Can somebody tell me what was the last lab we did? Anyone?
Classic load balancer was done, sir.
Okay. Application load balancer not tested?
Yes, not right.
Okay. Now, who want to do this? Do you want me to give access to Nanju? Do you want to share? Do you want to share your screen?
I've connected to my mobile.
Okay. Rajkumar, anybody? Prasad, do you want to take the ownership? Anyone? Sandeep, Rajkumar, Puneet, who wants to take the screen so that I'll guide you?
I have connected to my mobile.
Okay. Okay. Okay, no problem. Then I will only do it in the mail. Basically, idea is that if you guys are doing, you will explore yourself by logging in. So that was the idea. Okay, no problem. 1 second. So, okay. So I am logged into the AWS console now. What I'll do is that I will be logging in now to EC2. Okay. So I'm going to instances. So I do not have any instances. So to do the application load balancer, what is that we need? We need to have minimum for any load balancer, how many instances are required? 2 instances are required, right? So I hope you remember there are 3 types of load balancers are there. What are the 3 types of load balancers Amazon will provide you?
Application load balancer, classic load balancer, and
Elastic load balancer.
Very good. Network load balancer. So what is the application load balancer works on which layer?
7 layer.
Layer
7.
Very good. What are the features of application load balancer? Can anybody tell me? That day explained you so much of application load balancer. What is the difference between application load balancer and classic load balancer? Come on. Only 1 week happened. Application load balancer works on what all protocols application load balancer will support? Just tell me.
TCP, UDP.
No. Application load balancer supports only 2
HTTP,
protocols.
HTTP, HTTPS.
HTTPS. Okay. And
next.
classic load balancer will support HTTP, HTTPS, TCP, and SSL. Okay. What is sticky sessions in load balancer? Sticky sessions are nothing but cookies for your load balancer. Okay. So you should not forget this. Last weekend only we have discussed what is what are the features are there in the load balancer? Can I do backend server authentication in application load balancer? Can I do backend server encryption in the application load balancer? What is idle connection timeout in load balancer? Last week only I explained you guys. Only 1 week happened. That's it. I think completely forgot, huh? In 1 week. This is very, very important topic, load balancer. Okay. So please do not forget. Again, I am revising it. Load balancers in AWS are of 3 types. How many? 3 types. One is application load balancer. Second one is classic load balancer. Third one is network load balancer. Okay. Application load balancer works with layer 7. Classic load balancer works with layer 4. Application load balancer uses HTTP, HTTPS protocol. Classic load balancer uses HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP and SSL protocol. Okay. And as I told you, platforms like sticky sessions. Sticky sessions are supported in your application load balancer. Okay. And backend server authentication. Application load balancer doesn't do backend server authentication. Classic load balancer will do. Backend server encryption is done by both the load balancers. Idle connection timeout is available in both the load balancers. Connection draining session happens in both the load balancer. Cross zone load balancing will happen in both the load balancer. Health checks are there in both the load balancers. CloudWatch metrics can be defined in both the load balancer. Access logs can be defined in both the load balancer. Pathing means URL based routing it is only possible in your application load balancer, not in the classic load balancer. Routing to multiple targets means you can define multiple targets in as an instance or as a Docker, as a container, that is only possible in your application load balancer. HTTP2 support, it's only possible in your application load balancer. WebSocket support, it is only possible in application load balancer. And load balancer deletion protection, it's only possible in application load balancer. Right? So all these are the different features which we discussed in the application load balancer. So do not forget these all things. They will ask you what is application load balancer, how do you work on it, and all those things. And the pricing of the application load balancer all works with the load balancer capacity units. So you need to use the capacity units for the load balancer. So remember all those things: application load balancer, classic load balancer, network load balancer. Okay, so all these are very, very important load balancers. So network load balancer is nothing but if you don't want to use URL or HTTP, then you can go with the IP address based load balancing solution. Then you have something called as network load balancer. Remember one more very important, a classic load balancer is the old generation load balancer, which is no more people are using. Nowadays, everyone are going with the application load balancer. And application load balancer or classic load balancer, any load balancer you want to do the lab, remember here, always recommendable, preferable to manage these servers in the different availability zone, so that your load balancer also working in a multiple availability zone, always it will have a high availability. So whenever you're creating a application load balancer, so make sure that you create and generate in a different location, a different availability zone. To do any kind of a load balancer, minimum requirement is that 2 EC2 instances or 2 Docker containers or 2 microservices, minimum 2 are required to configure your load balancer. Now you will get a doubt, sir, I don't want to use AWS load balancer, Elastic load balancer. I want to get my own load balancer called as Citrix NetScaler. I want to get my own load balancer called as Juniper load balancer. I want to get my own load balancer called as Dell Sonic load balancers, or any kind of a load balancer, whatever you want to get the load balancer, your own load balancer if you want to get, like Citrix product, Juniper product, or a Dell product. you can get it by adding as an image, AMI, third-party template, and you can configure your own load balancer. But this load balancer, what Amazon is giving you, it's a by default feature Amazon is providing you. So it is only chargeable when you're using this load balancer. Now, if customer says that I don't want to use Amazon load balancer, I want to get my own load balancer, most welcome. Amazon supports any kind of a load balancer as an instance, means you need to deploy it as an image and you can do it. Okay. Now to configure the load balancer, we need to have two images, two instances. Okay. To understand this load balancer, you need to understand how the load balancer works in the background with your auto scaling. So let me show you this. So if you're able to see my screen. So to define a load balancer, you need to have how this is integrated is that first, the first step is that your one second. This is my Route 53. And let's take all these are the different users. All these are the different users connecting via internet. Means like this over the internet, they are connecting via Route 53, right? So connecting via this internet to Route 53. Now, this is my Route 53. In the background, I will have minimum 2 instances. Maximum can be depends upon your requirement. Minimum to manage a load balancer, we need to have 2 instances. So here, what I'll do is that I will put my load balancer, which means that via the user, whenever he connects over the internet, from the internet via this Route 53, this load balancer will route the traffic to these instances. Now, how this load balancer will route the traffic depends on what kind of a load balancer algorithm or strategy you have defined. Application load balancer or classic load balancer depends on that. This will be defining the load, right? Now, always in the background, at very last corner, at somewhere at this corner, what will be there? You will have your DB. DB is nothing but database. So if you take, there will be a connectivity from EC2 instances to your load balancer. And this both the servers instances will be talking to a common database, and from your Route 53 to the load balancer. And here all users means, which means that this is your Route 53. This is your ELB in the brackets, application load balancer or whatever it is. And this is your EC2A. And this is your EC2B and database, right? This is the architecture. So what is this job of the load balancer? Is just to distribute it. Now let's assume this particular EC2 instance, let us take that this has been consumed around 99% of usage, both the servers. Now, how do you define the usage? On the metrics. What metrics? CPU, memory, network, disk. Now let me ask you a question. Based on these metrics, CPU, memory, network, disk, can anybody tell me based on this matrix, CPU, memory, network, disk, and operating system. If both becomes 99%, 99%, what will happen? Will my load balancer will still distribute or it will stop?
I think health checkup work
It
and
may slow down.
Okay, very good. Puneet, what Devesh, what is your answer?
actually my answer is if both are the 99%, then auto scaling required to make another instance.
Yeah, keep it aside of auto scaling. We'll not discuss now.
Okay.
I'm just asking about load balancer. So if both become 99%, 99%, will my load balancer will still forward the request or it will stop?
It will give the health checkup, right? Health checkup will give the warning or
Excellent answer. So remember here, very good. So in the background, there is something called as health check. So as long as health check is proper, it will keep on send the request. If the health check fails, what will happen? Then that machine will not be again communicated for your request. It will isolate it. Then it will go to the next machine, right? But in our case, we have only 2 machines. If any one health check goes, then other fellow will be dependency. If both health check is gone means then your load balancer will not be able to give the requirements. Now that is the reason, like as Devesh told, we have a solution called as auto scaling. So auto scaling is nothing but a feature, a functionality in Amazon, which will help you for creating a more number of instances based on your usage parameter, right? So in case if your utilization of CPU goes up or XYZ factors, you can define a rule nowadays, which became an automated rule in your AWS auto scaling. You can define and automatically the instances will get created based on whatever the parameters you have defined. If you define 5 instances capacity, it will create 5. If you define 10 instances capacity, it will create 10 instances automatically whenever there is a high load. Means you no need to worry. So automatically the instances gets created in AWS platform based on the load, which for that you need to integrate your load balancer, application load balancer target to your AWS. So which means that if you integrate to the auto scaling, then only whenever that particular load will get higher, your auto scaling will start initiating the process to add the new instances. So to add the new instances. But one thing you need to remember here. So whenever your auto scaling gets increased, right? So it needs an image to deploy the instances, which means that, so it's suppose EC2 is there, EC2B is there. Now, whenever you want to add any number of instances, it needs in the background, it is nothing but we call it as, we need an image to increase the instances. Okay. So basically predictive scaling basically we call it as predictive scaling. So which will automatically allow to increase the instances. For that, we need an image. Now that image is basically nothing but an AMI, Amazon machine image you need to define before itself, so that whenever there is a requirement, automatically it will try to create the instances. Okay. So Amazon EC2 auto scaling, what it will do is that it will help you to add the instances. It will help you to grow the instances based on your requirement. So now there is an, now you will get a doubt. Sir, can I means will it add as many as I want, or is there any limitation? So depends upon the scaling what you define. Suppose if you define 5 instances, it will increase 5. If you define 10 instances, it will define 10. So depends upon what you have defined, it will be, creating and adding the instances. Now, the other than that is that you will have a doubt like, will I be charged for, how many instances? So remember here, whenever you start the AMI, so when the moment it triggers that there is a usage hit, like, 99% utilized, the moment it starts the new instance, that instance charges will start from the time when the new instance will start, and from the time the new instance will get deleted. So based on the scale in and scale out option, your pricing will be charged. Okay. And one more thing you will have, can I define any recommendations or anything on this? You can define the basic recommendations, maximum and minimum sizes, what you want. Those things you want to define, you can define. And also you can do the predictive scaling, like you can define, like future based scaling, like in future, how many instances you want, or based on the forecast, or based on the next 1 month usage, you can plan it. And based on that, you can do, and you can define the target by doing the target tracking and all, you can do it. So those all are the advantages what you get in your auto scaling. So this auto scaling is a feature which you get in EC2. However, you need to have the image, and you need to create a launch configuration for that image, and then you need to apply. So whenever that 99% hit happens, this launch configuration will trigger a request to your AMI image, which means that, let me draw the diagram here so that you will understand. Let us take this. Let us take this as your image. Okay. So when you make this both into one group, let us take that you made these two instances into one group, right? Now this rule has been associated, which means that this group has associated a rule with your image. Let us consider it as AMI. So the moment this doesn't satisfy the condition, this will trigger, means it will trigger to your, this will trigger here. So when it triggers, automatically this image will allow to launch one instance. So based on the condition what you have created, and immediately the instance will be launched. Like this, you can create the multiple instances. That is the benefit of your images. Like this, you can create. Now you will get a doubt, sir, what is that if I need to do some changes or modifications or updates or anything? So Amazon has a solution called as System Manager Service, EC2 System Manager Service. Whenever you want to do any updates or any packages or any, you want to deploy any kind of a patches, you can use EC2 SSM service to do that, which will help you. So this complete package, right now, it is not only EC2. So in this, so many things you need to understand. One is Route 53 is there, one is load balancer is there, one EC2 is there. And I said that whenever it reaches 99%, then it need to trigger to AMI. Now how this will understand that? That is where again there is one more component is involved here. What is that component? This component is called as CloudWatch monitoring, right? So monitoring is required. So when CloudWatch monitoring is also there and AMI is also there, the CloudWatch means this rule is giving an alert, because this CloudWatch is monitoring it based on the usage. Whenever this 99% gets updated, a CloudWatch will say that, okay, it triggers an alert mechanism to your AMI saying that it is 99% full, then this will get created. Now, this CloudWatch is again integrated further with your one more service that is called as, I will put one more, 1 second. In the background, one more service that is nothing but your notification service. Means I can define one email notification to which email ID I should get an email. So the CloudWatch, the moment it is triggered, one notification is also being generated to the end user to understand that, yes, he has received an email. So if you see here in complete the hierarchy here, you are having Route 53, you are having load balancer, you are having instances, you are having CloudWatch, you are having SNS, you are having AMI, you are having DB, which means that all these services are required to do this end-to-end setup for your integration. Understood?
Samir, how about the deletion of the extra instances created?
To scale out. So before what used to happen is that there used to be scale out rule. Now it is not there. It is based on the usage condition parameters, whatever you define, automatically that does it. So you no need to worry about it. So when we define the rule, it automatically takes based on the usage conditions.
Samir, do we have any mechanism now? Suppose I have a EC2 and EC2A, EC2B. Already we have created an image. Later on, I have update some patches into EC2A and B.
Mhm.
So do you have any mechanism to update updated image as well? Because
No,
if we need a auto scaling, then image have a old one and it created another EC2, but not a full configuration.
yeah. So as I told you, right, for that you need to use SSM.
SSM.
So SSM, if you go here, system manager, can you see this? This service, you need to use it if you want to integrate or do all kinds of patches or sending some packages, updating all those things. If you want to do, then you need to have this SSM service in place and do the due diligence on updating the things and all those things. Okay, then only it is possible. So basically it's an application manager. You can see, right, you have all the change manager, automation, everything. It is possible with this.
So SSM is only work on EC2, not for the image. So I think in that case, we always make a alert or very alert. If now suppose any EC2 scaling created, so then we need to update a new all patches on new EC2.
Yeah, so it is like this. Now image, right? You can update the image once you power on the AMI and do whatever the changes you want and say update image. The once your image is updated, automatically whenever the new instances get launched, it will get updated image. Okay.
Yeah. Always it means very alert. The people whoever handle this, like creating auto scaling and all infrastructure. So that guy is always alert. If any patches updated in EC2, the image should be updated accordingly.
Correct. Exactly. You're right. Okay. So that is how this complete package system has been deployed, means been planned. Okay.
So it will be manual, Samir?
What is the question? Do we?
Is this batch deployment or images would be manual process?
No. You can automate it.
Okay.
See, some people will go with the AWS. Let's assume you already have your own patching solution. Then you can go with your own patching solution also.
So we can implement DevOps. So with patching, right?
Yes, definitely. Okay. Now let us assume that how do I do this integration? So you know what is load balancer, application load balancer. You know what is classic load balancer. Yeah, I already told you network is nothing but using your TCP IP can do it. So to integrate all these load balancers with your auto scaling, first you need to have an image, right? So what we can do is that we can quickly create one EC2 instance, convert that into image, then we can integrate with our auto scaling. Then we can integrate with our load balancer and use this for our auto scaling. So let's assume I am using Windows. I click on select. I click on next and next. I make it all traffic. I will say anywhere. Scroll down, review and launch Madi, and create a new key pair. And you can say ALB download key pair, scroll down, launch instances, right? Now view instances. Now what I can do is that I can say this as master machine image. I can keep it aside. So once this is powered on, I can whatever the necessary packages, necessary softwares, whatever you want, you can deploy and keep it aside, convert that into AMI and keep it aside, just shut down and keep it aside. And later you can create the images top of this. And like Devesh asked me a question, right? You can add the files, you can update the images, update whatever you want, like patches or anything. Once it is updated, you can update the AMI based on your requirement, right? Now what I can do is that I can say connect RDP client, download, scroll down, get password. So let us wait for a minute, then we will convert this. So I think it's running. So what we need to remember is that whenever we are trying to do the AMI, always log into the OS and try to change the password first as an initial step, so that it will not give you any effect or any kind of an issues, so that in future also if there is any problems you can retrieve back. Okay, I'm doing that. Now let me, okay, it's connecting, right? Very good. So let us see the password. Connect RDP client, scroll down, get password, browse, and then pin, scroll down, get password, copy this password, यहाँ पर जाइए, Control V, enter. So now I have created it. Okay. Now first step what I'll do is that I will change the password. Then I will create AMI. Okay.
Hard disk. Hard disk. Allah.
Okay. I logged in. Start. Server manager. Just wait for a second. Tools, computer management. Set password. Welcome 01. Welcome 01. 01. Done. So I change the password. Okay. Meanwhile, what I'll do is that I will install the IAS also. Next, next, next. select the AS, add features, next, 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 and say install. See, it's getting installed. Meanwhile, what we can do is that I can minimize this and I'll go back here. I will convert this into AMI so that we can use it for future purposes.
Still, we need to install the website also.
Pardon? Yeah.
The website.
So, yeah, let us do one thing. Yeah, Google free website templates. Okay. Okay, let's download. Okay. What is this? Sorry. Okay, so we got the template, right? So what we can do is that I will close this. Now this is my template, show in folder. Yeah, right click, extract here. So this is the content. These are the files. Okay. License. Okay. No problem. So what we'll do is that Control A, copy and go here. Okay, this is got successfully installed. Close, close. Where do I need to load? Go to Windows.
Init.pub folder.
Yeah, very good. So go here, desktop. Now, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? This PC in the C drive. initpub, www-root, Control A, delete, and say paste. Okay, very good. Now, what should I do? Scroll down. Let me close this. What is the IP address of this machine? 113.235.83. Go here, Control V. See, our website is ready. Yoga is ready, right? So we got our website now. Very good. So whoever wants to access, they can access. Now what I'm doing is that now I'm going to convert this into AMI, right? Actions. Scroll down, instances, create image, give an image being saying that ALB image I'm giving, or you can give auto scaling also. So I can say auto scaling image I am giving scaling. Okay. Now I'm creating the image. So here, if you want to add volume or you want to have the snapshots and whatever you want to define, you can define. I'm not defining anything. I'm just simply creating one simple image. So this image will be here in the AMIs. So the image is here. So what I can do is that I can create two machines and I can make one machine, I can give, one content and another content. So to create the load balancer, so what I'll do is that as I'm creating an image, once the image is available, with the help of image, we'll create two instances, because already in that IIS is there and the password is already been set. So it will become easy for us. So just wait for 2 minutes. Then we will configure the application load balancer. Then we will create an auto scaling integration to the load balancer, and then we'll do the testing. So it will complete in a minute.
Samir, one question while it is completing.
Mm-hmm.
This 750 hours, 3 hours will be there, right? So when we are doing, say, VPC connectivity, subnet gateway, internet gateway, all these configuration. So while coming out of the lab session, only terminating the instance will terminate everything, or we need to delete everything like VPC, subnet gateway?
See, I'll tell you, your VPC is not chargeable. Okay.
Okay.
So you no need to worry about it, but your elastic IP is chargeable. Okay. So if you have assigned any elastic IP, then you need to worry about it. If you have not assigned any elastic IP, you no need to worry about it. Okay. And
Okay.
secondly is that if your instance is just, you have deleted, but you have not deleted the volume, then also the charge will be there. So you need to make sure that in your volumes tab, once you're done with your lab, it should be empty. This all things should be empty. Okay. If anything is lying here, it is chargeable. Anything lying in the snapshot folder, it is chargeable. Right. So you need to be very careful whenever you do the lab. Make sure that you deleted all those things. Then it's not an issue.
Anything it will show in the dashboard, like what all things are active?
No. It won't.
Okay. We need to check everything, right?
Yes. Now you will get a doubt, sir. Sir, I want to, because I'll be using in production, so many machines will be there, so many disks will be there, so many volumes will be there, so many snapshots will be there. Then how do I, get everything as a report, or, which, how much is consumed, what is consumed, and all this. The consumption you can find out. But if you say that you want to get some information like a proper data reporting or a dashboard kind of a thing, then you need to work with your development team, or you can work with DevOps team to create those as a modules for your requirement.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Samir.
Hello, Samir. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Samir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
In which load balancer we use Lambda function?
Lambda function is not related to your load balancer. Lambda function is basically related to the integration.
Okay, so is there any specific requirement, like can we use this Lambda function?
I will explain you the use case. Just give few minutes. Once it's slowed down, I'll explain you the use case.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay, it is now available. What we can do is that, okay, now I am going to this AMIs, actions, launch. How many I need to create now for the application load balancer? How many machines we need? Two. Next. 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 All traffic. Anywhere. Review and launch. Launch. Create a new key pair. Download key pair. Choose an existing key pair. What is that key pair name? ALB. I acknowledge. View instances. Okay. Now what I'll do, server 1 and
Amazon, there is a issue. I
No,
think. Not they did not test it fully. Whenever we change the name, always sometimes is blank.
okay, it is running. Okay, copy. Right, it's axing, right? We didn't do anything, just directly we are connecting, no? Now our work became easy because already these two machines already have the images, correct? Through AMI it got deployed. So I can go easily, right? Can you see this? We are able to access. Okay. Directly through the instances. Now, beautiful. Our life became very easy because we have the instances running. Two images are running properly. Now, what I need to do? I need to create it, right? But one thing remember here. So I created it, but what I'm going to do is that to configure a application load balancer, always one image should be running in one availability zone, another image should be running in another availability zone, but we have not selected any availability zone, so it has selected default AP1 South A. So that should not be a case. That's the reason what I'm going to do is that I am going to terminate one of the instance, terminate, and when I install the second time, I will make sure that I will select the South 1B. Now,
Samir, can we have a way to transfer one zone to another zone?
no, you can't. You cannot modify that because it is data center, no?
Yes, okay.
So go here and select 1B. Next, add storage. Next. I will select all traffic. Review and launch. Select the ALB. I acknowledge and go here and say,
Oh, you forgot that anywhere, all traffic and anywhere. It was custom only.
oh, is it? Okay, 1 second. So, okay, that I can do after launching also. Launch instance. So now view instances. Okay. Now this one I will give server to save. So this was the instance, and you're saying that I have forgot to make it anywhere because of the network security. So go to security, go here, actions, edit. Yeah, it is almost anywhere only. It's okay. So save rules, done. Okay, now EC2 is there. Now both the instances are beautifully running. Now you can see here, server 1, server 2 is there. Let us take the IP address, public IP, copy this and see if we're able to access the browser. Very good. We are able to access the website without any problems. Now scroll down, go to the load balancers. Scroll down and go to the load balancers here and create a load balancer. Oh, last time I think we created, we have not deleted this. Okay. Okay. Create a load balancer. So I am doing now application load balancer, create test demo. Yes, mine is internet facing load balancer. I will go with HTTP. One is A and one is B. I have only two availability zones. I'm selecting it. Next configure. Next configure. But we need to remember what security group we have used for these two instances. So I really don't know which one I have used because it was a normal machine. So let me go and check. Server 1, go here. Security group, very security group. So okay. Okay. Last number, remember 55083, right? And again, instances, server 2, server 2. F1A2C, remember this. So go here. Which one is that? I forgot. F1A2C, right? Last one.
Below. Fourth or fifth item from below. Yeah, it's 855 and these two.
Which one, the other one?
Above.
Above one. 8550.
Okay. Done. So next, new target group, you need to define a name. I will say my load EC2. Target type is here. Now somebody was asking about the Lambda function. So what is this instance IP and Lambda function? So you can create a load balancer, and targets can be your instance. Targets can be one IP address which you hosted, or target can be a Lambda function. So what is this Lambda? Lambda is nothing but a service in AWS which is called a serverless computing solution, right? So serverless computing solution. Now, what do you mean by serverless computing solution. So basically, whenever you want to define anything, like whenever you want to do any kind of a, let's assume that you want to run a code, or you want to do any kind of an application to automate or anything, in the background, you might need a servers to run that code and execute it. So this Lambda is nothing but what it does is that it's a serverless computing service which will allow you to run the code without provisioning or managing the servers, which means that what it will do is that Lambda automatically precisely allocates your compute power to run your code. Means suppose, let's assume that you have created an application with Node.js, or you have created with Ruby on Rails. So whenever you want to define any kind of thing, what this Lambda will do is that, so you can use this Lambda as a function. Function is nothing but as a code, as a platform. So Amazon is providing this serverless computing solution, so that the moment you trigger it, it will execute the code, and in the background, it will load it. So now you might get it out. So what do you mean by the target type Lambda function? So whoever has asked the question, you need to understand, you need to answer me. What is that we did it in the instance? What is that we did just now in the instance? What are the steps we did it in the instance?
We selected a security group. We
No.
rerouted.
What all things we did it in the function?
Yeah, we have created a IIS and installed the web service.
Very good. So we need an OS image, and inside the OS image, we install the IIS. Inside the IIS, in the inetpub root directory, we have uploaded the files, correct? This is what you did it to get your website, right? So
Yes.
same thing I can write in a code also, which means that I can write a basic code to host my website, right? So what I can do is that I can write a code. What it can do is that, so the code calling function, what I'll do is that, okay, install the IIS or what is that Apache, and upload these files, blah blah. Or if it is in S3 bucket, I can integrate the S3 bucket as a use kit, and I can provide it. So what I'll do is that rather than installing an operating system, image, installing IIS, everything, I can directly do through a code the same solution what I did it through an instance. So when I say Lambda function means, what does it mean is that it will talk to Lambda to make the target as that particular code. So when I say next register target, it will ask me to provide that code details. Okay, because I don't have a code, now I'm unable to do it, right? If you have defined it in code, then what it will do is that when the moment you say Lambda function, when you select that code will be this particular load balancer will be talking to that code's interface, which has been assigned with an IP address to communicate and give the load balancing. So what does that code is that written in that code? In that code, it is nothing but it is written to host a website. So basically, Lambda supports 4 type of application types it will do. Okay. See, this is little development part. If you're feeling boring, just let me know. Okay. Just 5 minutes, I'll complete up, because he asked me a question. I'm giving the clarity. So there are 4 types of application types are there in the Lambda. Basically, use cases we say. One is for the file processing. Second one is for data and analytics. Third one is for the websites. Fourth one is for the mobile applications. In the Lambda, what all things you can do? 4 cheez kar sakte ho aap. Means 4 things you can do. One is mobile applications. One is websites. Third one is data and analytics. And fourth one is file processing. So this lab, what we are doing comes under what? Websites, right? You are creating a website.
Yes.
So if you want to create a website that requires a backend logic which can talk over the HTTP by using Amazon API gateway. So in Lambda, when you write a function, that function should have a API gateway so that it communicate via HTTP, because your application load balancer understands what protocols? 2 protocols I told you. HTTP, HTTPS. So when you write a code, it should understand the HTTP or HTTPS, which means that your Lambda function should have a endpoint called as HTTP endpoint with the help of API gateway. Then you can register the target here by clicking register target and provide the function. Then what will happen is that it will backend the websites are created via Lambda functions, which means that you are not controlling that websites directly, but it is happening through a function. That's the reason Lambda service is called as what service? Serverless computing service. Sorry, excuse me. So that is called as serverless computing service. But now what is that we are doing? We are not learning about Lambda. We are learning about we did it on the EC2. So EC2, what we did the instance. So we are just using the instance. So when you selected EC2 instance, by default, your HTTP protocol came into the picture. Why? Because I told you already it supports HTTP or HTTPS. But when you selected the Lambda function, you didn't got that option because Lambda function there you need to create manually HTTP as an endpoint. अर्थ आयता पुरिंजिदा समझ में आया?
Yes.
Great. So
Samir, can you repeat? I didn't understand that Lambda. Please don't mind.
Okay. Who all didn't understand?
Devnath, it is just gone out of my mind. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Yes, Devesh, you were asking
अभी
something.
थोड़ी टाइम की दिक्कत है. Samir, can you repeat Lambda again? Actually, it's going very fast.
Okay.
कुछ है तो है नहीं. वो 35 लाख का ही है.
Okay.
50 साल सालमपुर से.
Let me explain.
मिल जाएगा.
Lambda.
60-65 लाख
Lambda.
तो बेटा क्या कमा लिया तुमने जिंदगी में, क्या तुम्हारे लिए बना लिया है? 60-65 लाख की प्रॉपर्टी.
Samir, can you mute everybody? I'm not able to hear anything.
हमारी बढ़ रही है.
Yeah, somebody is talking.
तो दिल्ली में रहेगी. इसको हमारे बाप ने तो हमारे लिए क्या क्या बना के रखा हुआ है, ये कर रखा हुआ है. ये तो देखो प्रॉपर्टी के.
Okay. Okay. So Lambda is nothing but a service which is called as serverless computing service. Okay. So Lambda, let's assume you want to do any kind of a task in Lambda. It is not a operating system. It is not an image. It requires a solution to write a code. What is that you need? You need a solution to write a code, right? So Lambda supports certain coding languages like Python. It supports Node.js. It supports AngularJS. It supports Ruby on Rails. Like this, certain coding languages are supported in your Lambda. Okay. Now the question is that how does this coding languages will work? These coding languages will work with a solution called as serverless computing solution. Means, so whatever you write, let us take one simple task. Let us consider that what we did now is that we hosted a website, right? So we hosted a website that is in EC2 instance. Means we have an operating system. Inside the operating system, we installed the IIS. Inside the IIS, we installed the content, that code, the coding, whatever the HTML content, what we downloaded from the web content, we uploaded inside that operating system, right? So all those things we did it as a solution, correct? And then once it is done, you are directly browsing with the IP address and you got the website, correct or not? This is what you did. till now in the EC2 instance, right? Same to same, I want to do it in the Lambda. Okay. Lambda is also one more service. Whatever without an operating system, without like manually doing all these tasks, you can do through a code, through coding solution. You can configure a web package, you can instance, like how you defined an instance, right? The same way you can define a web package, you can define the code, you can upload the code with the help of the integration. All those things are possible with Lambda. Why? Because Lambda supports basically 4 types of use cases. One is called as file processing, second one is called as data and analytics, third one is websites, fourth one is mobile applications. So this Lambda, you need to write a code, whatever you did right now through instance, same thing you need to do through a code, which automatically creates in the background the required instances to support the Lambda. That is nothing but serverless computing. You are not using any server directly because you're interfacing with your code. Now,
so Samir, you are telling that this Lambda function work as a web hosting server. Like earlier, what you have done is that you are creating a instance where instance where you were using IIS to do a web hosting server. You were practically functioning that as a...
Yes, same to same thing. You can do it through Lambda functions by using any technology. Okay.
Is it possible to show? Means,
that is what I said, development for that DevOps. You need to have the development knowledge. You need to know how to write a code. Okay, 1 second, I'll show you. Just see this. Right click, open link in a new tab. So this, go here. Can you see this? Create a function. Now here you got an option. Is it an image, or do you want to write by yourself, or do you have any application browserless, or you want to use a blueprint? I am showing that, I am telling that from scratch. Now I will say test web. Now here, can you see this? What it is saying?
The programming languages are there.
So अगर आपको इस programming language में कोई भी programming language आता है where you can write the code, let's assume I have selected Node.js or whatever it is, then when I say create a function, then it will give me a control panel to upload my code. Okay. Once I upload that code, in the background, it will create what you need it. Okay. Now यहाँ पर देखिए, so I created a test web. So see here. Can you see this?
Yes, Samir.
यहाँ पर आपको कोड लिखना है. नहीं, अगर कोड लिखना नहीं आता है तो आपको क्या कर सकते हो? What you can do is that upload from S3 or a zip file. Suppose if your developer has written a code for your website, you can just directly upload that code here and this will execute. And suppose if this code requires background 2 servers or 3 servers or blah, 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 whatever it is required, in background, automatically Lambda will initiate that to create in the background that servers. You understood now?
Yes.
Samir, here we can upload a static website only, not the dynamic, right? It will work.
You can upload the dynamic also. You can upload the static also, because if you say a dynamic, based on the dynamic, the whatever the code requirement is there, accordingly that will build the machines in the background.
So build the machine in the background, a development machine, and upload a EXE and everything. So
yes,
it will work. Okay.
Understood. So these all things will happen in the Lambda. Now you will ask me a question, sir, how do I write a code? Now for this, what should I teach you? Node.js shall I teach you? Python shall I teach you? Now again, this, to understand this, what is that the subject we have? We have a subject called as AWS DevOps or a developer associate. There, the prerequisite is that you should have any one coding language, prerequisite, which means that either you should have a good knowledge in Python, either you should have a good knowledge in Node.js, or any kind of a JSON, any kind of a coding language. If you have, then you can test this Lambda functions, right? By writing the code. Naito, what you can do is that something copy paste from internet and you can test it. Okay. So those all things are there. So let us not get into it because we do not, it will not come into our scope. So let us go back to our load balancer. But you understood, right? What is Lambda function? Clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Now go here and select your instance and select your HTTP. I'm going with HTTP. Next, by using the supported HTTP1 mechanism, it's fine. Now it is bottom health check. It's asking, okay, I'll leave it with HTTP only. Port number 80, that is fine. Next, targets. Now go here. How many images we have? 2, right? Server 1, server 2. And say add to registered.
With 3 users, right? There are another instances, master machine.
No, that is we kept it for the image purpose. No, you forgot.
Okay.
Okay, very good. So it is already registered. So 2 missions already got into the picture. Next, review and say create successful. Now you can see, right, your load balancer got successfully created. So you can see here the target, the state is provisioning. So it will take some time, maybe hardly 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So once it becomes available, then you can test it. Now state is provisioning. Provisioning means it is deploying it, right?
Similar means this HTML will get IP so that we can access our website, right?
क्या क्वेश्चन क्या है समझ में नहीं आया समझ में नहीं
Actually, we have 2 instances and 2 different IPs. So suppose the end user is accessing.
End user will not access with that IP. End user will only access with this DNS name, with nothing but end user will access with your Route 53 name. For example, let's say assume that your website name is flipkart.com. Okay. In the flipkart.com DNS, you need to add this record in the flipkart.com so that end user will not know in the background what instances you have created, how many missions you have created, nothing. He will only know flipkart.com. The moment he type flipkart.com, that flipkart.com will have a record to this load balancer, and this load balancer in the background depends on number of registered instances we have added. Automatically it will communicate. Okay. So now it is active. Now anybody, if you see this link in the browser, if you type this link, see, you're able to access. Can you see this? It is working properly. So you are now this link. If I go into any GoDaddy or any Route 53, I'll just create a record to this this particular load balancer, and I can access. For example, ping. If I give this name, enter. So this is my IP 3.7.138.233. So what I can do is that I can create a record in my GoDaddy with the website name what I want. Then the users can connect and load balancing will happen successfully without any problems.
Samir, there should be 2 IPs, right? If I load balancing, as I am load balancing between 2 systems, means 2 different instances. So the IP would be 2, like
already the IPs are 2 for the instances in the background. No, already every instance has one IP. Load balancer will have only one IP. The servers will have, each server will have each IP.
Okay. No, I thought it will be a one primary IP and one failover IP.
No. So see, now you will, very good. So let me explain you one more topic. If load balancer goes down, then you will have it down. Then what will happen to my connection, right? So we have primary and secondary. That's the reason I told you in the last weekend class, Amazon has a feature called as SSL offloading in application load balancer. If you remember theory, if you listen my recordings, SSL offloading is one of the feature. What does it mean? In case if there is any problem or anything, the background already this load balancer is clustered with multiple load balancers in the background. So you no need to worry. If this load balancer goes down also, still you will have the availability, because it is elastic load balancer, means in the background, these all are offloaded, and in SSL offloading functionality is there. This load balancer has been clustered. So you will never get a problem on the downtime. What you'll get the problem is that in case your instances went down, then only you will find the problem for the connectivity. Okay.
In case of an instance, I have two instances, right? For this test demo load balancer, I have two instances. See, one instance is gone down, another instance will live, right?
Yeah, another instance is there, still you can connect. If both downs, then gone.
Yeah, both gone. And in case this, you were saying, in case this load balancer gone down, in that scenario, there will be a SSS load balancer is there.
SSL offloading.
SSL offloading is there.
Yeah, so that what will happen is that the same name will be working without any problems.
Means do we need to create that?
You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. It's a feature of your load balancer.
So AWS, I think, manage itself.
Yes, you are right, Devesh. AWS manages that.
Samir, one question on application load balancing. Now, suppose I have created two machine. Machine A is one John, machine B is second John. But I have created image. Image always created only from one application, right? Now, suppose I have created an image from instance A, first instance, पहले वाले instance का create किया. Auto scaling जब मैंने किया, तो फिर वो क्या करेगा? John A में ही create करेगा machine को, but B में create नहीं करेगा. So how we can handle, like now suppose if I will handle 50% machine will be created from A John, or 50% machine will be created from B John.
Can you repeat that question one more time?
Shamir, now मैंने एक load balancing application load balancing configure किया और auto scaling भी configure कर दिया, जिसमें कुछ तो A John से मशीन क्रिएट हुआ है, कुछ B John से मशीन क्रिएट हुआ है. हेलो.
Yeah, समझ बोलो.
Yes. So now suppose I have created an image, but image is created from A John machine. But in auto scaling, because this is an application load balancing, but I need to create a 50% machine will be created from A John and 50% machine will be created from B John.
That's the reason we are defining the target of the registered instances. So because in the registered instances, when you create a target, like assume A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 machines are there. 2 machines आप create करोगे A zone में registered target के जैसा. Another 2 machines you create in the target B as a B zone, C in the C zone. Like that you can plan it and you can define. Like that you can define multiple zones. Not an issue.
Okay. Right.
सर ये जो लोड बैलेंसर का आईपी होगा ये स्टैटिक होगा? हेलो.
स्टैटिक होगा और पब्लिक होगा.
पब्लिक. सर ये लोड बैलेंसर का आईपी तो हमेशा स्टैटिक होगा ना?
Yes, it is static. It is not dynamic.
Okay.
अगर डायनेमिक होगा तो हर वक्त हम लोग को पेज करेंट भी डिस्प्ले आएगा. Yes. So now, okay. Now this has been triggered, right? So let me show you how it will work, Devesh.
Samir, one question. Just someone asked the question. The static IP address अगर होगा load balancing का, तो फिर ये static तो इसका होना चाहिए, किसका? Route 53 का. Because
route 53 is a DNS. Okay.
So DNS always consider one particular IP address.
हाँ, तो वो route 53 में ही आप target ये define कर रहे हो ना? Record का IP तो आप you are defining the load balancer IP.
Okay. So it means load balancing we can define a stack. So
wait, can you see this picture?
Correct. Yes.
Right. So this is your route 53. Okay, and this is your load balancer. Okay, so load balancer got some IP. Let's assume 10 dot or 3.176.3.4, let's assume. Okay, so from here your record in the DNS, you're telling, you're pointing this to this particular IP. Okay.
I mean, the Route 53 and your load balancer both should be static IP, because see, for Route 53 the IP should be always static. One is for primary and one is secondary, right?
No. So see, Route 53 is what hosted zone. That you are there, you're not defining any IP. In the Route 53, when you create a record, that record you're defining an IP. Route 53 is what? It's a DNS name. The name you're creating, whatever the .com you want, but the record is nothing but you're pointing out to your static IP, whether it can be a load balancer, whether it can be EC2 instance, whether it can be, you know, XYZ. Okay. Now your load balancer is working fine. Now, how does this works with auto scaling? Now, in this, you have something called as launch configurations.
One thing, in DNS server there is an IP. So there R53 is DNS server. So in R53 we will not assign any IP.
Route 50, what is that?
In DNS server, when you create a DNS server, there should be an IP.
बाबा आप लोग ने भूल ही गए फिर तो Route 53 लास्ट वीक किए थे हम लोग लैब. देखो Route 53 अभी दिखा रहा हूँ फिर से. Route 53 will never define the IP address. We will only define the name. उसके बाद जब रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट करोगे तब जाके आपको IP एड्रेस डिफाइन करना पड़ता है. I think you all people forgot it. One second, let me show you. Now go here. Okay, click on hosted zone. Okay, let's assume I need, okay, sarainterior.com already created. Okay, one zone is there. Okay, तो यहाँ पर क्या करना है? तो let's assume ये already record है, मैं इसको delete कर देता हूँ. एक मिनट, delete record. ओके, डिलीट. ओके, मैंने डिलीट कर दिया. जब आपको टैग करना है, जब यहाँ जाके क्रिएट रिकॉर्ड बोलोगे और यहाँ जाके आपको लोड बैलेंसर का आईपी डालना है. आपका लोड बैलेंसर का आईपी क्या है? व्हाट इज द लोड बैलेंसर आईपी?
3.7.138.233.
That is what I'm trying to explain.
3.7.138.233.
That's it. ये डालना है. तो ये रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट.
That means Route 53 में हम लोग we are just putting the route address, means root address of the load balancer, route address of the load balancer. We are creating a DNS record.
Correct.
So
you're
it
just
will resolve, but it is already resolving the name, right?
No. It is just a hosted zone name only. When you want to resolve, you need to associate the name with the records. Unless you do not have a record, it will not resolve only.
I didn't get it, Samir. See, the problem is when you are putting that URL of the load balancer. Once you create the load balancer with that name and you are routing both the instances over there, जो नाम आपने create करा उस load balancer का, that name is showing. When you are putting that name in the URL, it is showing the web address, right? Now in the Route 53, we are putting that same IP address in that creating as a DNS record.
Yeah.
So if we create a DNS record, that means the name is getting resolved with the IP address.
Yeah, but only after creating a record, no?
Yes, only after creating a record.
Yeah.
But
yes.
How come then it coming, earlier, how come it is coming? Because you are creating the route right now.
No. See, here sarainterior.com से अगर access करना है तब जाके ये record काम करेगा.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा
Okay. So you need to understand. See what can you see my screen? Okay, one second. Again, I'm sharing the screen. See here, sarainterior.com. अगर इस नाम से करना है तो तब जाके आपको then only you need to create that IP address, means record. But what we accessed is that we accessed with what IP, what name? We didn't access with sarainterior.com. We went to load balancers. What was that load balancer name it created? Some tested something. With that we have accessed it. See, ये नाम से हम लोग access किए. हम लोग सारा इंटीरियर नाम से थोड़ी एक्सेस किया है.
अच्छा ओके, दैट मींस ये आपका ओरिजिनल नेम है, मैं सारा इंटीरियर नेम से मैं इसको वेस्ट कर रहा, मतलब इसी नेम से वहां पे डीएनएस रिकॉर्ड बनाऊंगा, बिकॉज़ दिस इज द रूट नेम, ओरिजिनल नेम, एंड दैट नेम इज द डीएनएस रिकॉर्ड.
Load balancer name means if your route 53 is not working also, if your users want to connect, they can connect with this load balancer name.
बट जब आपने राउट 53 में आप उसको क्रिएट कर रहे हो and you are giving a name according to your choosing or domain name you are creating, that name will work similar to the WebDaddy and all, where you are web hosting that one.
Correct, you are right.
Got it.
Everyone got the clarity how it is working?
Yes, Samir. Yes.
Okay, so that is how it will work. So we are already late, so next week we will start discussing about that auto scaling. Okay, now you have done the integration, right? Now we'll see how that auto scaling will talk to the load balancer, how it gets created, and what will happen if that gets hit out. Means what will happen if that load becomes more, what will happen then, how do we integrate with CloudWatch and SNS. Those things we will see next week. Okay, you got the clarity, right, about the load balancers?
Yes, Samir. Yes, sir. Fully.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Samir, I will call you tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I need to talk to you regarding some questions and all. I spoke with you last week. I think.
Can you send the dump for?
I will give you a call.
Dump for exam.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, I will send you that.
Okay, I will ping you.
Yes.
Samir sir.
हाँ अखिलेश बोलो.
Sir, can I pin you on evening?
हाँ, एक 5-6 o'clock के बाद कॉल कर लो.
Okay sir. Okay, thank you.
और एक सेशन है.
Okay.
6 o'clock के बाद मैं फ्री हो जाऊंगा, तब कॉल कर लेना.
Okay, thank you.